Hello and welcome to another match of the 2022 Roulette Rivals World Championship. This is now the final 6 and the first of our 2 loser bracket round 6 matches between the Roulette rookie GKPunk with his oh so impressive 10 win streak coming to an end last round against k-kaneta, last year's second place finisher and on his impressive loser bracket run on his own. First, thank you to Joker J for adminning this match, and I would like to welcome our co-caster here, That Observer. Hello, welcome, how's it going?
Going well, and for fun, like I was saying in chats, we have some good 2 maps to start off with and some 2 really good players to have a match to play, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
And just everything points towards a thrilling match here, which should go, of course, at least 3 maps, but realistically up to 5. Won't really be talking about the past result much, but rather the brackets so far, their past rounds in the winners and the losers brackets. First up, I would say GKPunk, who has had a long winning streak from the group stage, going 7-0 in your group. That would be Group D, I think. And then beating Chromex, Mizuko-chan, and the buff guy with increasing scores. You can see it as the top seed of this bracket, 6-0, 6-2, 6-4, before losing 4-6 to TimeCube. And just very quickly about k-kaneta, he was also in the top quarter there, beating TK47 6-0, losing to buff guy 6-4, and then going on his winning streak first against Ducker, Nizuko-chan down at the bottom, yourself Observer, and then Pijero earlier today with the 6-4. What do you make of these results?
Yeah, they speak for themselves, quite honestly. They really fight for it, and to be fair, Kaneda has been doing pretty nice cleanups. He has a good few clean sweeps there, and he did have that unfortunate match very early on to bump him down, but yeah, they're all making a name for themselves, and GKPunk had an amazing run on that top winners bracket, and they dropped down to our rookie, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So he still has a chance to go up against him. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I don't really have a favorite in this. I feel like they're both surprising me so much. Kaneda, of course, was a runner-up in the previous RRWC, and GKPunk, as we've been saying, he is technically a rookie, but he's known in the community for his roulette skills and other community competitions, and he's been playing amazingly. And it's just going to be a great match, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think as I'm switching back to the match screen, it's always going to be interesting to call GKPunk a rookie here. Definitely a Roulette Rivals rookie, his first tournament under Roulette Rivals, but he might just be the most complete rookie to ever join this tournament. Of course, he might not just be the most successful, as we have seen the TimeCube guaranteeing himself a top 3 spot, but GK still in it, and his next opponent is k-kaneta, with both very impressive win percentages, but especially GKPunk, now 11 matches and 10 of them won, so that's 91%. Let's see if he can make it one more.
Yeah, that's amazing statistics for both of them. And yeah, they're both looking pretty good on the map as well that we're about to head into. 5 wins for GK. Obviously, it was his pick. Kaneda is 50-50, but hopefully he can bump that up to a positive ratio if he can take this one from GK, which would be a great start for him.
Yep, so a little bit of backstage stories here. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure they have thought about their own map picks, but because of Kaneta's previous match, which ended about 2 hours ago against Pijero in Losers 5, they were yet to schedule, and I don't think they knew each other's maps, and certainly not the RNG maps until basically 20 minutes ago. So we don't have a lot of preparation here, but neither do they. So should be almost like the good old days where in the first tournaments you got the RNG maps after finishing the previous map. It wasn't known in advance.
Yeah, it's almost a commendament to how good these players are, that they don't need that couple of days in advance notice to what maps they have, that they're just all rounded, and they're just, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the RNG maps especially, you'll see their practice from just weeks ago even coming into play, because they didn't have much time to brush up. But we have a first spin here if you want to do the honors for this New York in for fun.
Appreciate it. And we have seen a leaked accident here a couple of minutes ago in admin chat, but it's another accident. Athena Savala's falling object is the high security guard, the quick one, and GKPunk not wasting any time. He's the first one in.
Yeah, really fast spin. Of course, the biggest caveat to this is you don't need a pistol. You can shoot that chandelier. and keep the accident kill pretty quick. You don't got to put that pistol into your load. That's really nice of GK to just go straight in, have the trank in hand, and you want to get those 2 discs straight away because everything you need is in that room where Tina is. So could see a photo finish if we see no rips here. This EMP is always scary, but
yeah, I would say that it's all but certain with no rips we will see a photo finish with GK in our end enjoying a good 6-second in-game time lead, and I think about the same real-time wise, they should be having the same delay. It is really the most generous of the accidents because you can steal the pistol from the high security guards. You have the disguise here as well, and you can make this one soundproof from the corner.
yeah, that would be really nice to see from either player. Yeah, you would think, just based on IGT, it's pretty close. Depends on how fast they get Athena though, and if they use the Wi-Fi to get her closer to the chandelier, because rising drag time can be really good in this.
Yep, and we can see at this moment, Punky getting the last specification down and the punch to Athena's face. It's a quite close drag to under the chandelier. k-kaneta still needs to do the same, and Athena is running away. I think that might just make the difference for his first map.
I agree, yeah. And I was a bit worried there for a moment. GK knocked out 1 guard moments before the trank actually fully kicked in. But I do think he's okay. It's
I
just
didn't
a bit
see
scary.
that. You might be very well right, and we can only be sure after this job finishes. There's the stolen pistol there, and hopefully those guns turn green. There is searching though. Wasn't just close enough to the corner. It seemed like in the corner and it gets suspicious anyway.
I think he was too far right. He was too close to the gramophone. I think that soundproof corner didn't work, and just like that, k-kaneta's going to take it. He does get the kill. He does get 1 disc, however.
I think our process of elimination should mean that that's Fabian, and there he is, a little bit of whoosh there from the most important NPC on this map, the lady who enforces the high security, but k-kaneta gets the last disc and should be going the long way around, but it's fine either way, and he'll be taking this New York.
Yeah, very close there for both players, but yeah, a rip on New York is fatal, and that loud corner just didn't work out for him. I think he just maybe was outside of the threshold of it. But yeah, good to know, and just unfortunate for GK there. It was neck and neck, and it definitely would have been a photo finish, as both players didn't grab that Fabian disc on the way up, so there wasn't much room for improvement unless that lady caused some hassle for them.
Yeah, very much a heartbreaking start for Punk, who will be losing his map pick here, and so the reactions are mixed in chat. No, actually, they are one-sided. They say it's about the game's fault, and I really wouldn't know if the soundproof corner extends all the way to the gramophone, but people are confident that that is still in the soundproof range, and if that's the case, then it's just really unfortunate that Punk didn't get the kill of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I would like to know the realms of where that soundproof corner ends and begins, but yeah, unless there was some door open maybe, and the sound traveled a bit faster to that guy at the desk, because he seemed to be the guy to react to it, then maybe that's what could have caused it, but we'll have to watch the tapes back, make sure, see where he stood. We're actually going to get to see it again.
And that is consistent, apparently. And I think that's the most important hindsight here, is that, like, you could say that you can just shoot from the corner, but you exactly can't with the pillar being in the way of the vision.
That's surprising. I do feel I've seen people use it before. Maybe there's just a specific scenario where it doesn't work, but that is interesting.
I guess that will have to be decided by science after this match, because it seems consistent, but a really tight spot there, which ultimately doesn't go Punky's way. So k-kaneta taking Punk's pick, and now we're going to Miami, which is his pick, and k-kaneta's playing against 100% win rate, but so much experience on the right-hand side. 7 wins and just 1 loss.
Yeah, and that having 7 wins and 1 loss on any map is really good ratio to have. And like you just said, the experience, even if that number was bad, I still think the experience is better than 1 win, because it could just be a bad day for your opponent, or you had a really good day. But yeah, I am intrigued to see what kind of spins we get. And this is one of those, 9 maps that spin? I think we got told recently 9 of the 18 maps have been broken this RRWC, this being one of them, by our current winner bracket runner, Danny. not too long ago.
Yeah, you're exactly right. With the Ambrose record being beaten by k-kaneta just a couple hours ago, we are now at 9 out of 19. So, well, we can't change the statistic here. We can't get more than half the maps broken in Miami because it has already been broken. The longest standing record before the tournament, RR3 by Yanini. That rare, quick, successful Sierra snipe into easy Robert condition was beaten by just a very streamlined, I think, sugar strat that was for Dani,
Yeah.
but quick first try regardless.
It's like mascot and screwdriver for Robert. It was just really well understood. I was just checking as well. k-kaneta's loss was actually against that previous record holder Yanini back in RR7, so not a bad player to lose to at all. So he's looking pretty good even with that loss on him. And GKPunk, I think, just needs some more appearances on Miami so we can really tell the full scope of his skill. But they made it this far, so I have no doubt it's going to be a good map regardless.
Yeah, I think for a methodical player like Punky, I don't imagine Miami would be any difficult for him because Miami really just comes down to, and I think you know it more than most people, that how easy it is to get in the groove of things, and so many disguises, but eventually it all really comes down to just a couple strategies that you have to nail at the start, and of course the one main thing for Robert, and then you have just a really quick strat on your hand.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And in the odd scenario, it's really nice to see if players can acknowledge that you can do some Robert stuff first, like we see in electrocution setup, because the disguises are annoying to bring back and forward. Or if Starfish is in there, if you tactically start there, it's really nice to see. But of course, that's a lot more rare than seeing just this standard sugar stuff for Sierra.
It almost feels like a rule. If the Robert condition allows it, the players will go different directions, which will just going to make a perfect watching for us here in this losers bracket round 6 match. And I think that's the main thing that we could hope for. But anything else you would like to see here?
Oh, I'd like to see some falling object, Robert. Always, it's always interesting to see, especially if they don't go for that first. It's always a nice one to see. And yeah, just like we were just saying, anything really that makes them challenge starting either side of the map. Like old axe carrying or some battle axe over to Sierra. It's always interesting to see. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff we could get. Falling object, though, would definitely be my go-to for Robert right now.
Just like New York, Miami is the map where the accidents can make or break the map, but did we get any here? Oh, Observer running down for us.
Sierra Knox, Cleaver, Blue Sea Driver, which was also mentioned in chat, and Robert Knox, Falling Object as the waiter. So this is actually a very interesting spin. Couldn't have called it better. Blue Sea Driver is such a perfect balance for this as well, because that is like one of the most central disguises alongside Food Vendor, I'd say, and Chic, I suppose, that you have to like consider starting there or getting Sierra first. So I think we'll do a bit of variation here, maybe.
I think a couple of starts are viable here. You really need to get the sugar first and quickly, as well as the cleaver, but you can do it from waiter start as well as food vendor, which k-kaneta is going for.
I love food vendor start here. This is really nice. That cleaver knowledge is not something you see applied very often. And of course, this Blue Sea Driver, if you get this grab off quickly, you can go straight through the waiter room, get your sugar, and the waiter will be there for when you come back as well. So this could be really nice for k-kaneta, even though he was in a little bit later.
Really close there on one whoosh, but that's almost I got a certain part of the spin, and doesn't use the snail here, rather just a calmer, and that won't bring any audio attention to anyone. k-kaneta gets these guys very quickly, which Punk will have to wait for, using this crowbar to open the door. Funnily enough, consistently, the Blue Sea Driver will be the one investigating this one. Just takes good 45 seconds to get there.
Yeah, definitely a safe grab for GK here, but that quick knowledge from k-kaneta is going to give him such a lead because he can do the sugar whenever he wants. And of course, he's going to grab a different one, which is right next to this free waiter, which he'll very likely grab on his way back. But yeah, I'd definitely say looking really good for k-kaneta here. He even has a smuggle over here, so good knowledge. Didn't put it in the pit locker room.
Yeah, like the locker room is just a really reliable agency pickup, but for certain disguises, it just makes much more sense to go for this Kronstedt backstage area, and k-kaneta can now enter the Kronstedt garage, I think about all things considered, a good 45 to 60 seconds ahead of Punky, so important early lead here.
Yeah, really great lead. for k-kaneta here.
Please go see what that was.
Of course, I do feel like the biggest hurdle of this is still going to be that falling object, which can go wrong if it hasn't been practiced in a while. And whether it's the shark just like acting annoying or the guard following Robert underneath, it can be a little bit finicky. But I'm really intrigued to see the approaches they have.
We can talk about it in details when we get there and the players get to that side of the map. But I do feel like this map is far from over, just because your Robert approaches, even if they are both working, can be a good minute apart if you employ a lot of dragging. So I think if Punky's strat is quicker on the Robert side, we can still have a photo finish and more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. The approach is going to be vital for both of them, so the lead could definitely go in any player's favor.
So k-kaneta is first with this peekaboo, of course both of them as the blue sea driver are, and I believe the pit stop cutscene is like 26-ish seconds, and we have seen that Punk is still not able to start it, will now start it, so it does feel like it's like the difference is 2 cutscenes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. There's a bit of a chunk left, and still gotta wait for that peekaboo and change your disguise. So yeah, definitely about a 40-second lead, or even 50 seconds to a minute for k-kaneta right now as he leaves, moving on to the next area. It does get a bit of whoosh, which is scary.
Yeah, this NPC is always a problem, either because you're trespassing in almost all of the 30 disguises, but for the remaining few, he's still the enforcer. So k-kaneta nicely done exiting this area, and now just a falling object kill remains, for which he grabbed the screwdriver already, but
Yeah.
still a lot to do here.
Yeah, really good for knowledge there for k-kaneta grabbing that screwdriver, because it is something you can forget. And of course, because of that, we're going to see some Expo car finicking to make Robert come down. Hopefully get him under that shark. And GKPunk isn't too far behind, but yeah, like you said, he's kind of forced to wait out this little time of the peekaboo in the cutscene, so it's a bit of time to catch up on.
For a moment, it seemed like Punky could catch up just a minimal amount, like 5 to 10 seconds, but I think it was already broken back by the fact that Sierra didn't react to the first peekaboo, and even Punky aimed the gun at her. Still didn't work out for whatever reason, really, and now Punky has the same problems there, wanting to dodge the mechanic, but it just takes so long to get around, and the lead increases for k-kaneta.
Yeah, I understand being scared about him there, but it does take the safer option, which is nice to see.
But now, funnily enough, k-kaneta has a bit of a cycle problems here with the event security, and he's not even the one investigating. It's the CrossFit engineer, and the security is still there. Punky hopes that by the time he gets there, the security will be away.
Yeah, he's better off waiting out a cycle, which he does, and it's not too short of a cycle. Should be safe now. Hopefully that guy behind him can't see.
Same thought here, yeah, but luckily I guess wasn't meant to be here, and yeah. What would you do here? And of course what we will see here is Robert running down, but a couple options here, but
ooh, I think we're just going to see a pistol shot on the back wall. No, since k-kaneta has snail, he is going to just knock out everybody. He's not going to get both those guards, I think, with that snail, however. Maybe just one.
I think you're right. The enforcer dot went away for one, but because of the other body falling. And I think he's looking for the fish for the exit, which Chet really likes to see. But that pistol should really be used for a quick lockdown there, which I think is the fastest way indeed, because otherwise you will have to drag him all the way onto the shark, which can take a long time.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do like the fish option. It will save him time. It is one of the better exits. I'd say the next closest to would be the boat by Florida Man, or the default one, to be honest, because there is a bit of a trek. Maybe even the crowbar over by Race Marshal. So I think the fish exit would definitely be good here. And there's the pistol shot. Was a bit early, but I do think he's going to lock down here regardless.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about that one, and Robert is walking upstairs.
Yeah, a bit too early. That's a big mistake from k-kaneta there.
That's let's not talk early, but that could mean the map here. Depends on how Punky takes it, and Punky feels like the safer player, so he could very easily just wait it out and drag it out. k-kaneta, I don't think you can have this falling object anymore.
Yeah, I really don't know. He'd have to wait out the panic, and I don't even know if he'd still go for the expo car after the lockdown happens. So it's complete news to me what the Canada has to do here to save this.
Punky looking for the physics on the tanks here. Nice double
Love it.
classification with the environment.
And here we go. Robert's on the stairs. I don't think he realizes yet.
I wonder what can be done here. I think he's a bit late for this one and can't really drop an item. He can bump Robert and into one KO, and hopefully the second one will secure it, but he will be chest passing on the other side of that red barrier. Needs to get that silent KO, and
Oh my.
the body's
Scary
not found
stuff.
still, and I think that is it for Punk.
Yeah, we could see the fish eggs are not used somehow, and I might just add that little bit of extra time, but I don't think Canada has enough. Although it does look like Robert is strolling back, but I don't think he's going to be heading to the expo car. Looks like he's on his natural cycle.
Oh, Robert
Never
is
mind.
back to walking, and that was going to be my guess towards the fact that it could still work, but I really wasn't sure. The fact that it's a mission story feels like it's a harder trigger, but
Oh, and the guard is so separated. This is really tough.
and all the timings are weird for Kaneta now. Gets the first kill, but what about the guard? Punky
This
did
is
get the
very
kill in the meantime, and is looking for that fish exit, which it's a really specific cycle, but it might just be the first time in a long time that someone exits this deep in the tournament, at least, with the dolphin exit, fish in the hand, and the figure 8 movement to do with these 6 rectangles. I don't think those hit actually. Yeah, I don't see this splash of water here yet.
And is he going to try again, or is he going to go for default? It looks like he's going to go for default, which is definitely a good play.
Oh
But
boy,
to be honest, Canada could shave the time to somewhat make a photo finish viable.
that's the crazy part. If Kaneta knows it and gets its first try, I think Punk still wins this one. It's just such a big lead. If Kaneta's lockdown ended just 30 seconds earlier, then Fixtures might have made the difference, but GKPunk, I think, all but ties it up here. I don't see PC versus PC to have any photo finish implications.
I agree. It's going to be about 30-something seconds by the time Canada actually does it as well. So I do think it's going to be going in GKPunk's favor, but definitely props to both players for trying it. And it looks like Canada should get it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, 3, 4. That's the fifth one. You can still see from the splash, and the last splash also appears. So at least Kaneta, no, it doesn't show us. But I mean, you can't really expect him to think about us during this spin. 9:16 to 9:26, but Punky being the first one to load in makes that big difference.
Definitely weren't noting Canada's approach there. Even had a missed lockdown on Robert and still was within 10 seconds of GKPunk's IGT, which is just, to be honest, a testament to his beginning, I think, his blue seat driver grab, which gave him that advantage at the beginning, but unlucky pistol shot was really the deciding factor for that. Otherwise, Kaneta was definitely going home with it.
Yeah, it looked like a really strong 0-4 to Kaneta if that shot was a bit later. But I think it just all but confirms the 2-2 here. It's just so important to see the composure of both of these players. Kaneta with the lockdown troubles, but waiting it out and still managing to do the kill. And Punk failing to do the fish exit, but not keep trying. Rather than keep trying, it just went to the main exit and sealed the deal for Miami.
Yeah, definitely a good call by GK. And if he'd given that fish exit another attempt and failed it, it honestly could have been enough to give Kaneta that tiny bit of time he needed. And there's the 2-2 coming in from Joker. But yeah, what a start. I don't think either player... Funnily, it always ends up each player taking their opponent's map more often than the other way around in some crazy scenario, which is nice to see. And never going to RNG maps, which, like we said, they didn't have as much practice on these as most players would due to the late schedule by them. But we're really going to see their skill show up here and how much practice and how comfortable they are on these maps.
There are just so many aspects of this going on at the same time. First of all, I want to touch on the fact that, yes, I do feel like each other's map picks are taken so often. It might just be a reason of thinking a lot and overthinking a lot,
Yeah.
where you underestimate your opponent, overestimate yourself, and just the mental things of that. And I actually, because of the RR stats overhaul, I can now see as well that my own map win rate is lower than the opponent's map win rate. For some reason, you just have the sense of, I guess, the stakes are lower when it's someone else's map, and you just tend to stress a bit less.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Just definitely kind of, like you said, an expectation for yourself on the maps that you've practiced. And like you said, overthinking is, yeah, it's the key to it all, I definitely think. Sometimes you just got to go in and do the bread and butter approaches, and that's all it takes. You can do these crazy things, but never underestimate or overestimate your opponent. Just play your best.
And of course, the next thing we can touch on is the fact that they do not know the RNG picks, which I think the reason why they are furiously checking the opening strategies for at least Colorado first, and we'll see the other maps and what they will do for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's worth noting as well, this is actually GKPunk's one of the only maps he hasn't played so far throughout this tournament, as you can see by his performance. He may have played it 1 or 2 times that I didn't catch actually, but according to those stats, it doesn't look like he actually has touched it yet.
I would like to say that I think those are accurate to the previous match. We didn't have time to add k-kaneta's match against PG, so those stats wouldn't appear here, but we can just mention when those maps happen. Of course, it ended with the Ambrose world record. So yeah, Punk's first time in Colorado, but like most, I think as long as you know the Westbridge start, you are good for a lot of spins, and if you can do the hacker start with as little of a loadout as possible, then you can even go for potential world records and more spins.
Yeah, for sure. And it's even worth noting k-kaneta not too recently also broke this record with a 6:05, which is just an amazing time on one of the probably most hostile maps I could name if I had to pick one. Very closed area, but you cannot run anywhere in suit, or you can't get Scarecrow across as easily. There's so many timings. So it's really really amazing record from k-kaneta. And hopefully we could see a good spin that challenges them in a certain way.
Yeah. And also lastly, on one hand, k-kaneta has already played and won 1 match today, so he should be more in the groove of things. On the other, it is now I do think it's 3:52 a.m. in Japan, so ridiculous time zone, and let's hope that k-kaneta can stay up and can play his best coming into this third spin of the match. Sean Rose, Falling Object Scarecrow, Penelope Graves, Kitchen Knife as Explosives Specialist, Ezra Berg, Assault Rifle as Hacker, and Maya Pravati Loud Pistol in the suit.
Interesting one. Straight away, you'd want to point out that Maya, wouldn't you? The loud pistol and suit. That's a nice combo. Nice being very in inverted commas. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. We see that time and time again. That box over by Maya is vital, and it's a very scary kill to do. Can't make it remote either, so you got a box there. And yeah, of course, Sean as well. It shouldn't be too bad because we're probably going to see Sean caught when he comes back to the house because you don't have any other choice really. But it's definitely going to be an interesting spin, and they're both in pretty quick.
So first, the one saving grace of this spin is that at least you didn't have to think a lot about the starting location, or always Westbridge, although if there is one spin where you want to go off meta, so that I think a missed shot on the curtain and gets hunted k-kaneta immediately, so now it's a 20-second lead to Punk. But Maya, Loud in the suit will be the most challenging part of the spin, and it also has Sean falling over the Scarecrow, so really spicy one.
Yeah, I do like it. Thankfully, we don't have any very tough timings for the other 2 targets, Ezra and Penelope, as they're going to be both grabbed in this house while they're here. Luckily, no injected poison or fiber wires in some point man or anything. It's going to be interesting. And yeah, big lead for GK because of that little mistake by k-kaneta, which can make a difference because this map does kind of line itself up with that Maya timing you got to hit by generator. Then you just get everything ready for Sean, and it becomes disguise management after that, I'd say.
Yes, I'm looking at this k-kaneta infiltration. There was a bullet impact notice, but only the 2 guards reacted. Ezra still talking and still calm, which means that k-kaneta will be able to have this second KO on Penelope, the same one Punk is now getting. 20-second lead still stays, and now the big question: when to go for Maya and what to do with her.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if k-kaneta went for Penelope there, which you can go for a little bit earlier because that hacker won't see, it would have maybe caught up the time a tiny bit. So he could have used that extra time to do something else, but he does wait for the same timing as GK. But they are very close, even though we saw that rip. We're going to see k-kaneta leaving, pretty much. He's in his suit, and he knows that? What?
Yes, and he started with the gun flash. So for a tiny second, I thought that k-kaneta is just doing his worst thing ever. But this is all planned, and now he's going towards the red barn. We'll be picking up the loud pistol towards the right. And yeah, it's all he needed to get out of the main house. Very impressive execution.
Love that. First time seeing it, and it did make my heart go like, oh, he forgot to shoot this guy, didn't he? But the gun flash was so clearly intended. So that's really nice from k-kaneta. That's going to be a massive time save if he doesn't get fully washed. Oh my.
This is on the verge of still planned, but still oh so close. But k-kaneta gets to the area where you can do the chain by next to Maya.
Yeah, I love this. Really good timing. Even gonna get the peekaboo.
You never get this one because you're never here in this situation. But I think with the late throw, she should be turning towards you, yeah.
Well, I love this from k-kaneta. Oh, it doesn't get it though. That would be very nice from k-kaneta.
But at least you're hostile everywhere, yeah.
That's going to be a bit annoying. He has to wait for that guard to get back. He can't do any generator stuff because that guard out by the quad would probably go for it. So he has to wait for that guy to get back.
Yeah, and you can't even do too many chain lures in the first place because you have to throw the item and pick the same one up, and that in a hostile area just sounds so tricky. But now Maya with the hook. I just... my next question is, do you get the disguise next, or do you get the pistol in the suit?
Tough one, yeah. You really have to question what you want to do. Looks like he's going to grab this soldier. Of course, the other one's sleeping, so you might just see him box him. He's looking in the wrong direction, though, for a couple of seconds, so he has to wait out the cycle. Meanwhile, GK did knock out Maya. I can move on now. Probably going to grab the explosive specialist, perhaps, which will be used for that Penelope kill back in the house.
Yeah, I think Punk is just delaying this inevitable, really tough Maya kill. At least she's down and isolated, and Punk can do multiple easier kills. The assault rifle is already in the tornado basement, and now he can get the penny disguise as well as the kitchen knife in the canteen area, of course.
Yeah, looking pretty good for Punk. Although k-kaneta did get that suit over very quickly, he is leaving his suit and the kill there for now. He may just be worried about the Sean timing and wants to get everything ready for that. Because, of course, Maya ain't going anywhere anymore. So he's best off moving on with the next couple of kills that he needs to do. He's going to grab this kitchen knife.
At least he wants to, but that one enforcer will be making things difficult. I think it's behind his back, so it's the easier item to pick up. No, oh, poor k-kaneta, the kitchen knife is on the table, so he's trying to get the prompt there. There was the F available, and now gets it as well. Just a couple of seconds lost there, as Punk is back to Penelope's area.
And yeah, I have to say, it's really hard to say who actually has the lead right now, because both players are heading back to the house with an item for one of their kills, technically. Although k-kaneta isn't going to get a kill straight away, he does have Maya set up a little bit better than GK, who just got the kill.
I guess
first target.
I guess the one thing we didn't see is how Punk will transport the suit to Maya's area.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't doubt him, but that's an untrivial part of the spins which we have to worry about, but otherwise it's really so close.
Yeah, for sure, and you see both players have the same idea. Hits that 5-minute mark. You want to get ready for Sean. He is about a minute away, but you want to be ready and do not want to miss that falling object because it's a long wait if you do not get it.
One important difference here is that k-kaneta will choose a non-trespassing disguise to get the Sean isolation and probably jack him around freely before getting the other disguise. And Punk is hoping to get to that box in which he's hostile, and of course in the whole house and the whole map. Nope, he's just going for this side room, virtually the same. Still has to just look out for that one guard of Sean, who will make his way up to the top floor, and the two hackers downstairs.
And yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised we didn't see, I know some players don't like it, But some people take that shot from the stairwell from the basement, and some players, especially players like Kaneta, if I'm not mistaken, love taking that pistol shot from the apricot like garden part, which we actually might see from Kaneta. It's like he heard me.
No lockdown on Punky's side, and yeah, Kaneta with a big whoosh is hoping to get that angle. Important moment for both of them.
Love it.
Lockdown and the alarm, but that really shouldn't infiltrate the basement. Importantly for Kaneta, big whoosh is there, and still survives for the moment. So many enforcers around running in the area. I think it would be best to at least jack him away. But this basement with 4 bodies is just going to make or break Kaneta's run. Important kill for both of them, but yeah, Kaneta survived with green guns.
Yeah, we're noting GKPunk did get killed and no alarms going off, so he probably can feel a little bit safer. But of course, unless somebody goes into that basement, Kaneta just has to assume nobody will. Can't stand around and look at them. It looks like he's going to do just that. Oh, and there it is.
Someone did go back down. I did want to say that it feels unlikely that someone would run down, but I think one of the hackers on their own mind can just panic, or it's a bigger patrol area for one of the personal guards, especially with Sean recently dying. Very unfortunate for Kaneta.
Yeah, unfortunate rip there. Massive lead now for GK, who has 2 kills left on the plate for him. But you could say that Maya kill is definitely one that could cause another rip. It's not a trivial kill either to get Maya at that box. And of course we saw GK actually get Maya in the room, which is going to make the drag tougher because you can get spotted coming out of that room with Maya, bringing her to the box. And he's trying to get his suit over, which is whoosh central right now.
Absolutely, and he's in the middle of the map, which is the toughest part for this. He gets a big one and gets into combat in the end, just when it seemed like Punk is out of the blue and is able to get to the explosive area, the last NPC in the canteen. Spots him all the way through and gives the lead back to Kaneta by a minute.
Yeah, and just like that, we're back to the beginning, and the tables have turned. Kaneta had the rip at the beginning. Now GKPunk has the more severe one of 40 seconds. So it really comes down to the speed now, and if we don't see any more rips. I wonder if we can see any variation from either player. Their setups, especially Maya from Kaneta. Curious if he's going to try to get that kill a bit quicker, seeing as he has everything there except the pistol.
Oh boy, and I think this is where the fact that they didn't have time to practice these maps comes into life, because if you don't know which maps to practice, the Colorado suit route to Maya is something that is so astronomically rare that you don't really think of other than just for Colorado maps. And I think, like, of course Punky didn't have time to practice this one, and I think he just blanked on it. Just so many things to remember, and all we can hope is that for his second run, he will have a better and safer route.
Yeah, I agree, and no crazy variation from Kaneta so far. Is going to copy that whoosh he got last time. Less severe than the first one, however.
And yeah, it's now the 1 minute lead solidifying. Now we can see if Kaneta can get this peekaboo for the first try. And I'm just curious to see, he does opt for the shot on the generator, but then the throw will be turning into a nice quick peekaboo.
Yeah, I do like it. It's saving the time between the chain lures a little bit, and it's a lot safer in a way because you know who's going to go for it. So nice control from Kaneta using that. It gets it right to the box, which you want.
And yeah, I would be trusting that body there, just best case scenario. Don't want her to be jacked anywhere else. The loud kill itself will be tough enough. I am a little worried about the prospect of the loud kill in the hostile sky still, and that's a known but still rare wall hack through the window.
I was literally about to comment about those 2 patrolling guards. Didn't even know about that wall bang or that wall hack they have. Thought they were a bit earlier in their cycle, but yeah, that's super unlucky. Being faster for Kaneta actually turned out to be a little bit of a curse there for him, as he did have to spend a bit of time getting Maya last time, so he didn't have to deal with that scenario. Just super unfortunate timing there. Kaneta, he's straight back in it.
Yeah, if I want to be like sarcastic towards the game, it's the most realistic hole in any walls, because it's already a flimsy window through which they see. But of course, in any other map, Uh, for example, the Haven bathrooms, no one has any vision through walls like that. And still in Colorado, it is the case, which causes k-kaneta's restart. And now Punk with a 2.5 minute lead, but cannot get this peekaboo in, although the chain will still work. Was never going to be a peekaboo because he has the non-trespass in disguise, but gets Maya on the hook.
Yeah, still scares me getting Maya in this room because you have to bring her over to the box and it can be scary. Does get the KO and it's going to leave her there for later on.
It's just, we have seen so much in the past 13 minutes, except for the most important part. We see all the Maya preparation, but still no Maya kills, and this just makes me worried that when we get to the first Maya approaches, 20 minutes into the spin, I just hope they can both nail it.
Yeah, I agree. And even with that Scarecrow kill, we're only 50% success so far because k-kaneta did get it, but caused way too much chaos, so he's going to have to take a different approach. Was surprising he got that lockdown though, however, because he did hit that Shandy first try, but that bullet did cause a lockdown, unfortunately.
I was thinking about that one, like how could you cause a lockdown there? Probably a shot through the window was the first bullet that he reacted to, and then the falling object.
Definitely what could have caused it, so curious if we're going to see variation from k-kaneta. Likely going to see him go into the house for this kill next time around. We're going to see this peekaboo in its full glory now.
Yep, and has the best timing in this spin. It's so good that he even has to leave this area. And I think Maya will shake towards the left here, so I'm not sure if it's even possible to get this first KO quickly. Nope, she goes next to the box, so it's perfect for k-kaneta.
Perfect control on the peekaboo there from k-kaneta, even knowing when the kind of stickiness of the sight of her ends for when she investigates. It was really nice. Okay. Oh, and he's
tiny bit too early, and k-kaneta is really nervous about this one. All the cycles, and knows it's a pretty bad timing, but he's crucially all those seconds quicker than in the last time around, and if he can close the door quick enough, then he has secured this non-trespass in disguise,
Scary stuff from k-kaneta, but he knows what he's doing, no doubt. Meanwhile, GKPunk hit that 5-minute mark, so he's getting ready for the Sean Rose kill again, which he did get away with pretty successfully last time. It was the suit escort over to Maya that caused him trouble, so hopefully we see a similar approach here. It did work out pretty nicely for him going to that side room.
Yeah, of the two players, I think k-kaneta is... Punky is the one who can be more confident about his strat, because the penalty kill worked out, same timing. It's a safe... I want to say no-risk kill in the hostile disguise on Sean, and just really the suit transportation that really matters here, and I think he has now had another 6 minutes to think about this one, and he'll either try to make this route more consistent or goes through a different way.
Yeah, I agree. There's some interesting things still to happen in this spin, and yeah, GKPunk is looking very confident in what he's done so far. And hopefully this Sean kill ends up the same way as it did before.
I think k-kaneta follows Punk's strategy in this in a way that gets the explosive specialist as soon as possible, and will be able to kill her penalty before the 6-minute time. And we don't have sound, but now I have to add some sound on Punky's end because that is the alarms and the lockdown.
Yeah, now that one's surprising. Like, I know there was a guard right above, but to be fair, maybe he hit some glass on the chandelier, because I've seen time and time again players shoot that chandelier, not get locked down, and sometimes get it. And GKPunk just bites the bullet because someone was running down that basement.
Yep, and it was red in the last frames there. I saw it on replay. So now both players suffering the consequences of the falling object, and it was the Krugermeyer, which is subsonic, and it felt like Punky was outside of the subsonic range, so Sean shouldn't have heard the initial bullet go off, but apparently it was 2 shots for some reason.
That's a good point. I'm curious if the chandelier could have caused it, or if somehow the gun going off did do the deed there for him, but regardless, he's in as well pretty much instantly. They know what they got to do. It's just these tiny little things. Oh, and that's scary from k-kaneta. That hacker coming down.
I did not dare say anything there, because so many things going on there. Kaneta getting the hacker disguise as the explosive specialist, which is just passing in the whole house, but the hacker's only in force inside. But Kaneta got the disguise after some body dragging, and now it's getting to the 6-minute mark, hoping for a non-lockdown kill there. Bumps into Sean just for a couple extra seconds.
That pretty much would say to me that he's planning on going inside the house for the kill, because he'd be looking really good on timing if he was doing the outside shot again, but definitely wants to get in there this time around. Could do a KO this time if he wants to be really safe to guarantee nobody hears that gun go off. And look at that. He's even is he preparing for the alarm just in case? Oh, never mind.
I am really wondering what Kaneta might be up to here, because now the 6-minute mark is after a bump. I guess it's close to 6:05 when Sean started to stand under the chandelier, but still so much time has passed, and I think Kaneta is looking for this angle, no lockdown, and the kill is successful.
Yeah, I love that angle from Kaneta. Even got Sean on the turnaround, which is like optimal. Literally so clean from Kaneta there. And the lockdown not happening was just some extra advantage for him there that he probably wasn't too sure about why it happened the first time around, I'm sure. But yeah, 1 kill left and has the suit there. Probably has a loud pistol or can pick up one very easily on the way.
I can't remember getting the pistol in either of the 2 ways that it's known in Colorado, either from the Interpol badge technician. He really wasn't around that area except for the Scarecrow. Or can he get... No, these soldiers don't have pistols, so I think he has to go to the Red Barn for it. Oh, Johnny says he has it.
Oh, he must have picked it up. Yeah, I was about to say, changing the suit would be a very confident move if he didn't have it yet. I didn't catch where he caught it, but...
Interpol, I'm so sorry I missed that.
Oh, very nice then from... And there it is. Literally no hesitation on the kill.
Without really looking anywhere for the technicians around the car. And there will be some panic here, and I think this is the tough part of the spin. 4 targets down, but how do you exit in the hostile disguise?
Yeah, this is very scary for Kaneta, but like you're saying in chat, just wait. You made it this far and your opponent hasn't hit done in 20 minutes, so you might as well just wait it out. No point ripping.
Yeah, until you lose a map 30 minutes in by less than half a minute, I think you will always have to take it safe. But you just cannot think about the possible time saves here in this part of the spin, and we can see that these 4 NPCs now all calm down, and one will be even bringing away the pistol there. But the whooshes will not go away. Just need to get that soldier or elite guard.
That guard is going to a box on the left. Thank God he didn't enter that room, because he was going to stay in that room. Oh, and Kaneta looks so scared. Oh, look at this from GK. What the hell is going on there?
Oh my goodness. What was that even? I think the isolation happened during the door closed, what happened to the...
of course. Yeah, of course.
What the hell? And now she falls down, but oh my goodness, if this was the first run, if this was the important run for Punk, this is even funny now, but could have been quite a highlight there.
Yeah, that was great. Definitely the door, I'd say. We've seen that in a couple of IL runs. Targets can get stuck in the door and they go flying if you catch them at the right moment. So that's at least hopefully a lighthearted moment for GKPunk to laugh at while Kaneta runs to the exit.
Well, I'm sure he feels just fine 20 minutes into Colorado and sees that to a ragdoll. But I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely no way that Kaneta could anything happen, even as Cam's dealt with, which would be there. But he is finally out after 22 minutes of, I'm sure some would say, an agonizing Colorado.
It was agonizing for both of them. It was agonizing for anyone who doesn't like Colorado, but anyone for a long match, for an exciting match, was really happy to see this spin, and it can continue here in Isle of Scale, which is a map where Punk could talk a lot about how hard spins he likes to get, or he usually gets, and I think it can really range from the 2-minute spin to the 10-minute spins.
Yeah, I agree. There's some really tough spins on this. Starfish, of course. Starfish Jebediah. We'd love to see it. Two opposite corners of the island.
Oh goodness, like that's really just the GKPunk treatment. I know it because there were so many stories from him about his spins, and just he always tends to get either block or the barrier ropes, or if neither, then suit Nathaniel. And I think the hour has passed, so this is why we see the spin now once again, like we did with Mika admin the previous match, but this happens all the time. We just have to respin it and set it to the next hour. I think it is 18 past the hour. Just.
And did I see correctly? It was Suit Fire Butler Starfish. That would have been an interesting spin.
I think it could have been, and oh my goodness. Oh, now I'm disappointed to not see that spin.
I'm very disappointed we didn't get to see a Suit Starfish Butler spin. That's a challenge. Should be a challenge on the map, in my opinion. That's such a trek.
And it would have been a challenge if people didn't notice it until, I think, actually 3 years after the map came out. For a long time it wasn't even a condition because it wasn't even on hit maps. The starfish was hidden behind the
I didn't know that.
board there. Yep. Just
That's
for
actually amazing.
One of the RRs, it had to be changed. I think it might have been changed during an RR, but it might have been a sacrificial knife which was found in the middle of a competition. But it was definitely last year, and the beginning of the year we didn't have either. The beginning of last year, shall I say.
Wow. That's amazing to know.
Here's your Roulette Rivals history lesson there, and I guess for the mathematics lesson, see the 5-2 on k-kaneta's side and 3-1 on Punky's side, both of them with more wins than losses, both of them with significant experience, but of course with Punky you can't really imagine to have dozens of spins like Yanni or Fruit would have on all maps at this point.
Yeah, I agree. There's experience is good, but you have to be around for a long time to actually have that experience, and you can do as much as you want in your own time. But when it comes to a competition, it's completely different.
And something different here is I think k-kaneta started this strategy with an apple throw on Sophia, turning into not quite a full lockdown. I think it's the same soft lockdown which we see on Rico lately in Santa Fortuna. And sadly it's one too many guards here, but it's a better RNG. It could be a quick ISO here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could be very nice from to use from k-kaneta if he did figure out some nice way of getting the guards. And yeah, very similar to Rico, 2 guards by a door and the target is just a step away. Definitely seems like potential, but we are moving to a potential match point map for k-kaneta here, and let's see what we got for this spin. And we have double weapon. We have Zoe Washington, Loud SMG, Entertainer, Sophia Washington, Pistol as the ARC member. Interesting spin for sure. Love to see double weapon.
And it's the double weapon, which is not the obvious one. It's not. Well, I guess you can get some pistols from different isolations, and especially from Chapel Start, you can get one for the Sophia Ready ISO. You just can't get an ARC member. But the Loud SMG, it's not the silenced one, which the personal bodyguards have. So good luck getting that one and firing off on Zoe.
It's literally opening my notes just to check if there was a Loud SMG technically on the map, and there is technically one in the crypt. Zoe's Roamer Guard and one in the barracks, but they're very niche weapons to get for any player to think of, so it would be a benefit to bring it. Loud Pistol, if I'm not mistaken, can be found on Raiders, down by the stone circle especially.
Oh, now you got me here. I would go for regular guards when it comes to pistol, and for Loud SMG I would pick Raiders, but then I'm not sure what the allowed ARs are. I know you can get most of these loud firearms from anywhere, but I'm really not brushed up on scale, sadly. As we can see, k-kaneta starting with the phone ISO as the ARC member. You'll have the disguise and Zoe down, but the main question is, can he get the loud? Can he get any pistol for the radio ISO?
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one. And actually, just completely reminded myself, there's actually just a free pistol in the library right next to k-kaneta right now by the constant on a table, which is closer than you'd ever imagine. And it's not used very often, but would be nice to see. But he's looking really good now, and I'm surprised by GKPunk start getting the Entertainer first, which is not done very often. He's going to get both disguises ready straight away, which is really nice.
And in the... we have seen the silence pistol on Punk's hand. Timing looks favorable. Oh, this is someone you have to queue, otherwise you can get a body found here. I think I
Oh,
told you this one, or I
Yeah.
think we experienced it the bad way, but Punk gets nobody's found, and with a good timing, he can make the Sophia radio ISO. Same as Kaneta.
Yeah, like you said, he doesn't know how lucky he got with that body falling. And yeah, we've learned the hard way. You got to cue that person. What was that little mnemonic? Cue the music when you're getting the egg member. So he won't accidentally pop his head out through that little curtain. So yeah, very nice for GK there. He's going to make this radio timing pretty good. 150 to 2 minutes is usually the timing for radio. So he's just on time. Whereas Kaneta just gets it just before 2 minute mark.
The one variable in this strat, which I don't think anyone has figured out, will the elite guard follow her inside, and it's a no for Kaneta, and it will be a no for Punk in a couple of seconds too.
There's the first kill of Scale from Kaneta. Silence pistol kill, of course. However, GKPunk does have a pistol as well.
So it feels like Kaneta with an in-game time lead still cannot really be said to be too much in the advantage. He doesn't have the entertainer, which he might be able to get right now if he goes up the pipe. Big decision here, but he's going down for the loud SMG more likely.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to say now who actually could possibly have the lead. And is Kaneta using guard for his SMG? That's very nice. Use of the phone again, which is very often not recycled by many people on this map.
Yeah, it is an SMG after all. It felt like a fusel to match an AR, but it is the HX7 or like some pre-purposed SMG there. And very important observation by Chris, neither of those bodies are sedated, so you can't really shoot and dump and hide.
Yeah, I think their best bet would maybe do the kill from above on the bridge if it was even possible. But then that, of course, that constant exit is very, very likely going to be gone. However, GK though is going for the chapel or the MOC lure with the Zoe, which is pretty nice. You have 3 boxes in that room, 6 bodies in total. Can be hidden, and you can just jump at that window and get an exit.
Yeah, I guess this is the main question, like how do you get Zoe, and Kaneta answered it with the phone lure, which is going to be troublesome in itself, but I think Kaneta cannot go through that door. He will be trespassing on the other side.
Yeah, hopefully he realizes he can go through the other door.
I don't think you can, and that's full, and that's red. By the same event stuff he was so worried about, giving a huge lead to GKPunk.
Yeah, and like people in the chat said that there, he could have went out through the window and climbed up, would have been fine. And I actually think he would have been pretty safe for the kill if he did do it up by where the coffin is for Janus in that wake. And he could have went for that exit really close if he was fast. I've definitely never done that in a match before.
We have the 100% success rate with it, and about a year lost in our lives, but it is possible for the carrier to do the loud shot. DPC, whichever round it was, where we did fail in scale. That was all of the rounds, by the way. GKPunk with the entertainer below the room there, and loud SMG, I'm not sure where to get it from. I think the radar area should have some.
Yeah. He does have a bit of time to spare now because of that rip from Kaneta. Of course, he's not aware of that. But he's actually going up. Is he trying to knock out both of these guys?
Yes. Because the way you can make this soundproof is the top of the stairs of this room, but it requires not just clearing out the MOC room, but as well as these 2 guards. But they are not playing games. One of them always turning towards Punk, and I think now it should be fine. It's a quick animation, but gets both of the KOs down there.
Very nice for GK there. Was a bit scary with those coins and the bumping, but does get away with it.
But we can see now from the minimap that Zoe is coming, and the first body is found, and the briefcase is picked up by the lead guard, so I'm not sure how to handle this one. Might be a Chank on offer here. Punk still has a Chank, but do you have the nerves to do that one?
Oh, this is scary stuff.
Doesn't have a lot of time here, and Punk is jagging the wrong body. Now there are... He was absolutely wanted to jag Zoe there, and the body will be found any second now. The thankfully Punk is dropping an item for him. Needs to get
this
at
is
least a
really
subdue in
nice.
there.
I think he might get away with it. He does. Really nice from Punk there with the coin.
Oh my
He has
goodness, the
to
composure
vent.
from GKPunk there.
Yeah, very nice save from Punk there. Very scary scenario. It's one of those scenarios you'd never practice because it never happens in practice. It happens in the tournament and you gotta improv out the absolute wazoo for yourself.
Another thing you can't practice is because how rarely it happens, but the elite guard followed Sophia inside the radio room, so k-kaneta gets a little bit of a leeway back into this, but it's just such a big advantage for Punk. It only needs the loud SMG of a regular guard here.
Good point in the chat there. Punky kind of entertaining us without the entertainer on. He is really making a good watch. And yeah, that briefcase, he might not realize that straight away, but that briefcase really saved him. That delay on the elite guard, giving him time to knock out Sophia and deal with them in a nicer manner. It looks like k-kaneta is actually in a various strat as well. He's going for this upstairs entertainer.
Yep, and with the upstairs entertainer, with yellow guns now, the plot thickens there, but imagine k-kaneta has the green guns there and the second disguise. He just needs to find a safe angle or just hope for it, and k-kaneta could have finished within the minute. And now what is Punk going to do here with all these bodies potentially?
You can't just change. That's the Red Fox approach to this, which I don't like as much, but really nice grab there from k-kaneta. Just have to be confident, but he didn't have a choice once he threw that snail, so just, yeah, really nice. And he's making it closer than you'd expect now to spin.
This is really close now, because I just don't know what Punk is planning to do here. I think he wanted to go the long way around. Not only for the entertainer, but for the ARC members to go away and look at that regular guard. Imagine, thank goodness you're not just passing here and Punk gets a loud SMG after all this.
Oh my. And this is extremely close. And of course, there's a loud SMG in this room, I think, as well. On one of the guards, if he wants to go for it, which it looks like he will. And oh my god, this is very close. How
did that happen for Punk? It's not the same loud SMG, but I don't know. What was the SMG left in the radar room? But it was a regular guard who found it.
Yeah, that's very surprising how that got there. We'll definitely watch the tapes back for that, because somebody must have been seen on the ground with a loud SMG. And it's really worth noting right now, k-kaneta is extremely close to finishing this. He's about to get the kill on the bridge, I would say.
Yep, I don't know where the elite guards will be at this part of the cycle, but you can get the kill through the roof or the glass bridge there. Punk is the first one to exit, but k-kaneta probably making it another photo finish with a non-trespassing disguise. But it's just too little too late again. And we are going to map 5.
You can hijack one of the Archean boats.
Yeah, unfortunate for k-kaneta. Would have loved to seen it be a bit of a closer photo finish for him, but just too many mistakes, unfortunately, that cost him that vital time he needed. The entertainer grab did speed it up a little bit, I would say, but I'm not sure. Like we always say, PC loading times are very unforgiving on this.
Goodness me, that's another 30-second win by Punk. It might be a bit more, as Joker will be typing out the exact specifics so k-kaneta can wave its second try from k-kaneta. But that's not at all enough loading times there, and 32 seconds is the difference, so we are going to map 5. But what a back and forth scale, and you say it's too many mistakes. I agree that the little things could have been different, but it's just one restart on, you know, the two sides together only had one reaps, which is just insane how good they're playing.
Yeah, I agree. And where they actually ripped throughout the run is a big factor. And unfortunately for k-kaneta, it was just a little bit later on than he would have liked. And there it is. We're moving to the lovely shores of Sapienza.
Oh my. Well, the previous match wasn't decided in Sapienza, but k-kaneta took a hit there. After being 4-0 up, he lost map 4 Sapienza against Pijero, but ultimately clinched his round 6 spot with an Ambrose win. Now it's a 4-2 lead lost in the Isle of Scale, and Sapienza returns for redemption.
And yeah, it's It's do or die now. This could end in a photo finish. It's never going to end in 47 minutes off the clock. Hate to break it to you. It's going to be a photo finish if we see a 5-5 coming into this. Because these players are going to finish the Sapienza spin. And as you can see, look at that lovely number for Kaneta. 420. 4 wins, 2 losses, no ties. And GKPunk, like I saw earlier, 100% win ratio, but no experience other than the one match. Which I'll quickly check who that was against, because it must have been recently.
While you are checking that, just really quickly going to say that there was a question in chat during the previous map if there was any 47-minute ties there in the knockout stages, and there was exactly one in a mirror cash between Pijero and Barbecue in the first round of winners bracket, which included Loud SMG, Reza, Prisoner. So you can guess how that one went, but just a really one of the toughest conditions across the trilogy there going wrong for them.
And yeah, during that I found that it was just a one match in that Group D group stage against Pinor, where he 6-0 against Pinor, and Sapienza was one of those maps. So he does have a bit more experience to show his talent on to be done, but we both know they're amazing players from these first 4 maps, so I expect nothing less.
Yet another match going to the 5th map. I want to say the previous match, k-kaneta 6-4, before that Yanni Buff Guy 4-6, before that Punk Time Cube 4-6, and then Yanni Chrome 6-2, but the one before that, the 2 before that, Pidgephanium and Chromex Reaper also 6-4. Incredible sweep streak of 5 mappers, and yeah, it can only get closer at this point.
Yeah, such amazing players, every single one of them. And really giving everybody a run for their money. Nobody is a favorite, and nobody's not a favorite. Essentially, anybody can really take these maps and move on to the next round. And again, still no favorite for this one. Kaneta has the experience, GKPunk doesn't. But
Kaneta has the play time. Kaneta has the 4 AM going against him. GKPunk, I think it's not his first decider as well, and you know, it is as decider as it gets. Want to quickly check. Yes, he did beat Buff in 5 maps and lost to Time Cube in 5 maps, so the nerves must be unbearable, but at least it's something that both of them have experienced at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And no matter what, we're going to have another 6-4 on the Rota, or even maybe a 7-5, but it would be amazing to see. We're finally going to get this spin for Sapiens and what we got in for fun.
Well, let's see if it actually ends here for Punk or Kaneta with this final, potentially final spin. Silvio Caruso fall as mentioned security. Francesca DeSantis injected poison as the butler. Both mentioned disguises. Both kills where the bodies can be found with Green Gun's cap. The potential here to be quick is insane, and Punk is already hovering over the kitchen assistant start.
Yeah, definitely a good start to go for. You get that mansion pantry smuggled straight away, which is very nice to have. And yeah, it's going to be spending a lot of time figuring it out, but both players in sync crazily.
Just what you want here. Oh my god. Yeah, the fact that's a really funny observation by Chris, and so true that the fact, so many quick kills can be ruined by the fact that the second guard for Francesca will randomly return to that office, but with injected poison you don't even have to worry about any of it. Just get the poke and go for the Silvio accident.
Yeah, definitely a good point. That you can leave Franny just lying there. This butler grab is going to be a key for it, I think. It's not a very commonly grabbed disguise, but of course you got to practice it. Looks like Kaneta doesn't get the butler on the hook.
He was going for 2 steps then. I think both of them failed. Kaneta going for a ceiling shot first, but it wasn't quite the ceiling, and the housekeeper didn't leave the room. I think Kaneta would try a second time there, but that's bullet impact noticed. It's Punk's first time Chandler is successful with no one else in the room, so I think his ceiling shot worked.
Oh, and there's a guard right next to Kaneta right now. Or not a guard. Mansion related, but yeah, big lead for GK because of the fast grab, you could say. If you look at the IGT, it's pretty close, although it's only loading time between them as they both hit play at the same moment.
And I suppose Oh, as long as k-kaneta doesn't take too long, he can still get a 230 kill there. And k-kaneta using one Cheng to get the butler and gets hunted in the end.
Unlucky timing for k-kaneta there on that turnaround for the butler.
It was slow and salvageable, slow but salvageable for k-kaneta until that point, and didn't want to waste the second Cheng on that guard. But unfortunately he turned towards 47 and now it's... Punk only has to finish this one, but it's a map 5 nerves here.
Yeah.
In the Americans' hands.
Got to be careful with this trank usage now, because you do want to get Silvio dealt with pretty easily. You can do without a trank, but looks like GK is going to wait at the time. I was a bit worried of a gun flash or something happening, but waiting could be a bit of a chance for k-kaneta to catch up here.
Ceiling shot worked for k-kaneta, but not the start of the lure. The guard investigated the first throw, and we can see the mansion staff now entering the area, and he might be the one reacting. No, the butler's coming. That's good for k-kaneta, but it's still a 1.5 minute lead, and with Punk waiting for 2.5 minutes, k-kaneta needs something special here to catch up.
I agree, he really needs to get fast. Get this butler and get up there as fast as possible to get this kill. Is he going to skip the waiting for Franny, like we see GKPunk doing here? Because that could help a lot in trying to catch up.
I'm not sure what's going through your mind at this point. k-kaneta losing a minute there and knowing that if you do regular stuff, you don't quite lose a minute, but you lose some time. And I think on k-kaneta's mind, if he could get a kill at around the minute 30 mark, he's almost but not quite back in this game.
Yeah, and it's going to be coming down to this. GKPunk does get a lockdown onto Silvio, but of course he hit the knockout at the same time that it happened, so he's good. That chef is outside, so he does have to deal with him as well.
Gets the Q there. And Punk ejects him away for safety. k-kaneta goes all the way there because he wanted to disguise from the mansion security. That's some important seconds lost there, but also k-kaneta, I don't think he shot the panel, so he would have to wait for Silvio indeed. So it is after all a big Punk lead and now going to the last kill.
Yeah, very nice for GK right now. He, of course, as well, since he waited around, he actually has the keycard on him as well, so he doesn't have to worry about opening up this door in a weird way. He grabbed up in the bedroom. Then it's just an EMP toss, assuming he has it. And he will be getting out Sapienza a bit quicker than k-kaneta, which I don't think has time to catch up now, unless we see some major improv.
Scary cube prompts there, but k-kaneta gets the KO, still has to wait for Silvio, and for Punk it's just Sapienza 101. One more distraction, one more disguise. That's optional. The drop and the EMP perhaps on the virus, and it's all over, but still one objective to go.
I was about to say, he knocked out that guard.
Didn't take the disguise
The
first.
disguise, yeah, but does grab it.
And teases us with the prospect of the silence pistol there, but he also has the EMP. Successful drop. There's the EMP, and once it's detonated, you don't have to wait out the 3 seconds. Green gun exit, and GKPunk eliminates last year's second place finisher to secure a top 5 finish.
Yeah, amazing from GK there. First try in and out, k-kaneta, just the butler, pretty much what did it for him.
Quick correction there, top 4 finish, and just 2 matches away from the grand final. He'll be playing against a Canadian in round 7 and the winner of the winners bracket final in round 8 if he makes it there. But what a match there, and GG's to k-kaneta, who can now get some sleep there. He can now get some rest there after some really impressive 2022 competitions. A marvelous almost second final run, just a couple matches too late, but of course he once again showed that he is one of the best players of the last 12 months.
Yeah, agreed. I agreed. Both players played amazingly. Both gave each other a run for their money, which means they're both as deserving to move on. And GKPunk just happened to clutch it up on that Sapienza. Such unfortunate rips through all the maps, to be honest. Like we saw in New York, GK's pistol didn't work. On Miami, we just saw faster from k-kaneta getting the blue seat driver. And then we saw even the mishap with Robert Knox. So just tiny little things through all the maps added up. And all of these maps could have gone in any way. Those tiny little things made it happen the way it happened. So yeah, GG's to both players for sure.
I can barely remember the story of each individual maps, but I feel like there was just one rip on either side on most of those maps, with maybe Colorado being the difference there. Great news here, by the way. Punky will be joining us for the interview. He will be
very
helping
nice.
us recap these maps, which is just so crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even surprised that it went 6-4. And if it goes 4-4, either players would so very much deserve to advance. But this time around, it was the Roulette rookie defeating the RR finalist.
Yeah, for sure. Beating the runner-up RRWC is no easy feat. And if he can continue on to the final rounds, there is a chance he could be going up against the RRWC reigning champion, Danny Buddha, who could make his way into the finals. And I guess we're going to see very soon if he is.
Here's my cue to show the brackets here, actually. Final rounds, which we can see now. And it was indeed a top 4 finish secured by GKPunk. Round 7 will award that place. If you lose in round 7, you finish 4th. If you lose round 8, you finish 3rd. If you win round 8, you have a spot in the World Championship final. Punk's next opponent will be either Mika or the buff guy. And we can see for round 8, it is... Well, I can't interact anymore, but it is Timecube versus Timecube or Danny Buddha. Oh boy. What a crazy match.
Yeah, not much more to say other than just an amazing match. Like that's what we want. Those amazing maps back and forth. Literally every player going into each map as confident as the other, regardless of statistics. And yeah, I can't wait to ask GK some of these pivoting questions we have, especially the Colorado and Miami. Just all the maps, honestly, were amazing. Sapienza was just so clean. It was very nice to see.
Yeah, I do think all the maps had their own stories. Which stories we will hear from our winner here. GKPunk, welcome and congrats.
Hello, thank you.
How does it feel? I'm nervous, relieved. How does it feel after the win?
Surprised. I honestly, especially during Colorado, I was like, can I leave? I really didn't want to play that Maya spin. Because I had 3 kills done so easily, which I didn't plan for. It just happened. And then how it ended, come to think of it, if I had gone around the whole map, I probably would have won.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a pivoting Colorado. As you probably were guessing, k-kaneta was having trouble with it as well because it got to like 22 minutes, I think it was coming up to.
Yep.
And it was that loud kill and the falling object for Sean, I think, caught both of you.
Yeah, I don't. The Sean thing, I realized what I did wrong the next time. Sean heard me shooting, and lockdown caused every guard to show up, and then somebody went downstairs and found the body, and like, cool.
I think in the end, both of you had one Sean lockdown, which ended up as a rip for both of you, but importantly, it was first for you on the first approach, but k-kaneta was always baited by the approach inside the house and got it fine the first try, and then the second try was locked down. It was really strange on the bullet impact there. And then of course the Maya going through the roof, that was a really funny moment there, but yeah. I don't know you appreciated that 21 minutes in. Probably something that's not too funny.
Actually, the Maya thing, like she got stuck on the roof. I was like, well, at least they'll get some highlights from me for this match. That's what I thought. I was like, because this is really crap. I have no... And I didn't have a loud pistol. I would have to go into the shed and get a loud pistol. First round, I would have had to got an assault rifle too. That was my plan. Which didn't work. So I was like, let me just bring one in, because I had a bunch of tranks, I think. I don't know what happened in Miami, because I did the fish thing and it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work. I don't know what I did wrong. Must have missed a tile or something.
I think you didn't go for the big tiles. Like you were just following the figure 8, but you didn't go into actually the splash of the water. And after a while, it didn't trigger. But you did follow the route correctly. It just didn't hit those pixels, sadly. It's such nice composure, though, to, after one
I was
just
like,
give it up.
Yeah, I'm just like second guessing myself. I'm like, screw it. If I win photo finish, it will be either side of photo finish if he hasn't finished yet.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I
And
still don't know how I won though. Because like I said, Kaneta was the second place for last year,
Mhm.
and I'm just casually playing the game.
yeah, but
Casually,
you
but
played
very well.
amazingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's worth noting as well, I wanted to point out because I was just as surprised about it, and I'm sure you were. The loud corner in New York, the chandelier. I don't even know what happened there.
So all of you guys love New York just as much as me. Well, probably a little more now after that.
Yeah,
That actually, I've encountered that multiple times for loud kills for Athena. Any other loud kill, I had a different strat for it, but falling object, you can't do anything about it.
wow.
Because
Yeah,
that was
there
a
And
was
I was banking on that corner working for me this time. I have encountered that before. I was just hoping RNG would go with me, and it didn't go with me. I knew that was gonna happen.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that
Yeah.
I will have to check out as well. It was our most hindsight moment there, but to just shoot from different spot, but you know it very well too that you can't really shoot from anywhere else because the pillar blocks your vision of the falling object.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and this is something I practiced. I think I played a New York same exact spin earlier in the tournament where I shot it and nobody heard it. But as I was practicing after missing 2 like record spins, this is what I came across, that corner is no longer reliable, at least for me. I don't know if it's like a unique copy or something. I have like in that little corner, little rectangle, I have gone in every pixel and it's like a hit or miss for me.
Wow. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That's crazy because yeah, I get in the practice I've done, which has been very minimal. I haven't had that guy at the front desk here because he's the guy that's causing it. So there must be
Yeah,
some kind of issue
and
with the
if you go
sound.
back and watch me take a shot, like it's the exact same shot
second
with the
time also
exact same
failed.
gun,
Yeah.
and it's perfectly fine.
Or
And
was it
maybe
fine?
next time
Yeah.
I go in, yeah, it was. I don't know what Kaneta did, but yeah, that was like a crappy way to lose a map.
It really was,
Yeah, it
but
was.
you
I
came
don't know.
back twice basically, right? So it must have been good for your mental.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Both of the wins I got were photo finish, so I really don't know how good or bad I was to trigger those.
Oh, and it just reminded me as well, what was going through your mind with that Zoe Washington elite guard tailoring behind with the briefcase and you had to coin him away, and I saw that little wobble of relief after you knocked him out. It must have really got you.
Yes. I mean, if you can write a whole book with that Isle of Skill. Did you notice my gun fell through the floor and then the guard picked it up and put it in the box?
Oh,
We had no idea who realized that,
yeah.
but it was the crypt guard. Now it makes sense. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he picked up that was my gun I picked up off of him, and it fell through the floor. If he didn't pick it up, I would have never realized it.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a save in disguise. Didn't even detect that. We were wondering what guard could have had an SMG that dropped, but that makes so much more sense that it phased through the floor.
Yeah, when I dropped it, it just dropped through the floor. So yeah, place your items, kids. But oh yeah,
Wow.
the answer your question with the Zoe's guard. So as soon as I saw him, like he's the first target you hit when you doing the ISO. Cause Zoe sees things it's fine. So I'm like, this is not gonna be good because there is a little gap between when they come through the door and they can find that any body that's where the custodian stands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if he looks a little bit to the left, it's over because I dragged the wrong body.
Oh yeah, we
But
spotted that. I wasn't too sure if he dragged the
luckily
wrong one.
he responds to distractions and dropped items, unlike Zoe. So I was like, just have him turn the other way. Have him turn the other way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that briefcase saved you more than it was intended to in the first place by delaying him to let you move the bodies just a tiny bit. Because you did drag the custodian, I think, or the MOC at least, from that spot. And that could have been the body that was just enough in his left vision to catch it. So I'd love to know how close it was from him seeing it.
Yeah, it's I think it's depends on the custodian's body being out. Yeah, you're right. because that's the body he sees first. So it depends on the ragdoll RNG. Sometimes he would see it when he passes the pillar. Sometimes he sees it as soon as he opens the door and takes 2 steps.
Yeah, wow. So lucky. And you played it amazingly. And everybody in chat agreed you used the coin to its perfect purpose. And,
Yeah, he just
turned them
needed to
away.
look away. And then I decided to take a gamble on the 2 guards outside because I think in the previous match I screwed up that one with the knockout from behind. Did a side KO, but I'm like, let's just throw it all in the line. And it worked out this time. And then I realized the 2 ARC members are still standing, so my loud strat's not gonna work. They gotta go.
Oh, yeah, of course. But yeah, he dealt with it very well. And yeah, I think you'd be surprised by the different approaches we saw in all the maps. Especially Scale, we had completely different approaches for Zoe. And they almost lined up right at the end. But you did persevere and save that elite guard from seeing the body. And it's pretty much what won you Scale. So it was going to be a photo finish if it wasn't declared by Joker. But yeah, it was very nice to see both approaches, and it worked out really nice for you, I think, the MLC and that approach. And you really adapted to the gun and stuff. Because like you said, if that gun didn't show up, it would have been a
Yeah,
very
because
big detour.
that gun is what caused me to delay the first place. I was like, I'll just grab it off of a raider, and I grabbed the wrong raider. So like that's out of the window now. So I'm just running around scanning who has a loud SMG that I can get safely. And I had that trank just in case if I needed to actually quickly grab it off of somebody. Otherwise, I could have used that trank on maybe Zoe's guard or the guards that stand outside the MOC room.
Yeah, for sure. And
Just, yeah.
I ended up using it on no one, I think.
Yeah, what a crazy map. And the whole match going 6-4 for the 3rd consecutive time in your tourney.
I can't. I'm surprised. I was happy after the Miami win, so at least I won't have a 0 on my name. So, and going into Sapiens, I was like, okay, well, 3-2, it's gonna be a less of a hit on my map win percentage.
But it was a win. And just one last question here: does it not sure if it's does it settle in yet that you're top 4 in the World Championship? Do you have any thoughts about the potential next opponents? It's either Mika or the buff guy, which you won't know for a day at least, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, no, I didn't know about the top 4 thing. I thought I was top 6, which is already like how? Because all the people that are behind me, like they're miles ahead of me as players because they just play for so long. They have so many titles, so it doesn't make any sense. That's where I stand. And in terms of next opponent, no, haven't really thought about it. I mean, I played Buff twice, so he's always fun to go against, and weird stuff happens in matches when I play him, but never played Mika. Mika's really good, so it's been interesting so far for my run, and I honestly expected it to end today.
But at least for one more match, and potentially 3, it will continue for you. Thank you, Punky, and congratulations once more on your loser bracket round 6 win to secure yourself a top 4 spot. And
thank you for having me. Thank you for casting and adminning.
No worries. I think it's our pleasure, and we did catch one of the best matches of the tournament, of which we will have 5 more. First up, actually in the Tuesday morning for Europeans, Monday evening for Americans. The aforementioned Mika versus Buff Guy loses round 6 match, but we also have the winners bracket final scheduled already. Time Cube versus Danny Butia, and on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, the winner of that match will be our first World Championship finalist. Will it be the rookie Time Cube or last year's defending World Champion Danny Butia for the 2nd time? Observer, any thoughts on this match? I know you have a lot, but any to recap?
Yeah, I think it's worth kind of echoing what you were saying, GKPunk, about the people before you with more experience. I think time and time again, especially these RRWCs, rookies and experience, and these people who've been around a long time, doesn't mean as much as you think. And nearly every round we've seen rookies just impress people, and we say it time and time again, you are no rookie, of course, due to your community competitions that you've partaken in, but you've definitely made a name for yourself. And yeah, taking the runner-up for previous RRWC is no easy feat. And there's not much of a jump up one spot to potentially face Danny or Timecube, who are both amazing players. But yeah, I just think it's a testament that no matter your experience or how long you've been in the game or how long you've been in the community, that anybody has a chance. And it's just about how much work you put in, and it really showed today. And like you just said, in front, there's just so many good players coming up soon and so many good matches. So we just got to keep an eye on those and see how they pan out.
Yep, I don't know how to top these ones in the last 5 matches, but they will be topped, I'm sure. We will see what kind of plays these last remaining 5 players will show us, but until Tuesday morning. Thank you, Joker, for admin this one. Thank you, Observer, for joining me for this co-cast. Thank you.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, also thank you everyone for watching, and yep, until next time, which definitely won't be casted by us, but someone else who is more in the American time zones or a night owl will be carrying you through the through the next matches. But until then, have a nice evening, everyone. Bye bye.